Good morning to everyone. It's good to see you here on the Uposatha evening. And Uposatha is, as you know, a very good opportunity to really strengthen and enhance our spiritual practice. So for this evening, it is especially a joy for me to be here to conduct this Dhammachat with Venerable Dr. Chandima. He has been in Malaysia for quite a number of months, and he has been very, very active teaching and engaging Buddhists from the north of the country to the south of the country. That is from Penang, Sungai Petani, right down to also Johor Bahru, where Bante also works with Metta Lodge and the Gladians in the south. And he also goes to Medan in Indonesia to teach Buddhists over there. So as you can hear from the biodata, Bante, Dr. Chandima is very knowledgeable, and he works well in engaging with the Buddhist community. So today, as part of the Uposatha observance, we thought that it'd be good to invite Bante here for this Dhammachat. It has been my good fortune to carry out a Dhammachat earlier at the Buddhist Mahavihara with Bante. And it was a lot of fun. For me, it was very enjoyable. Essentially, my role is to get the conversation going by asking Bante the questions. And then Bante will answer, using his knowledge and his wisdom to see how it can help us in our Buddhist life. But at the same time, the questions are not confined to just myself asking it. If you have questions as you listen to what is being said, what is being discussed, if you have questions, you also have the opportunity to ask. And so we will try to manage the time to allow the audience, which is you, because it's all for the benefit of the community, to get as much benefit as possible from tonight's Uposatha event. So again, let me welcome on behalf of everyone here, Venerable Dr. Chandima. And I have prepared questions. And as you know, tonight's discussion is on the age-old question. Because in Buddhism, we are taught about craving. And our view is that craving is not compatible to our spiritual goals. So we try to control craving. And there are some Buddhists that really wants to suppress their craving and eliminate their craving. But we also have our layman responsibilities. We live in the world. We live in an environment that is that we need to earn a living in order to have a comfortable life. And we want to have a comfortable life ourselves, and we want to give comfort to our family, to our parents, to our children, to our friends and relatives. And therefore, we try our best to acquire all this worldly and materialistic wealth to share with others. But here is where the question arises. And it's not a new question. In fact, the Buddha, when he was teaching, alive and teaching, people came to ask him this question. In that what the Buddha taught was so lofty, and is aimed towards Nibbana. But there's we who are not so much directed at Nibbana, but we want the benefits of the Dhamma. We want to learn about how to practice dana, how to practice sila, how to practice bhavana. And when we look at the suttas, from how the Buddha engaged with ordinary people, he would give them very basic teachings, gradually preparing them for the higher teaching, the higher practice, the higher goal. So in tonight's discussion, as you listen, I hope you also will form questions. In tonight's discussion, I will ask these questions on behalf of the lay audience. How can we negotiate? How can we navigate all these high demands or principles in our lives? On one side, we have the material. On the other side, we have the spiritual. How do we work our way, around all these aims? We do appreciate also. That's why when we have spiritual aims, and we are able to meet spiritual goals, we also feel very happy. And then we go home, to family, to our jobs, to our bosses, to all these responsibilities. So yes, this is what we want to learn from Bhante, because Bhante, as you heard, has been very active in the West. And the Western audiences, the Western community also have their understanding of the Buddha's teachings. They also want to know how they can live their materialistic life as well as gain spiritual goals. So get your mind thinking. Because I will not be able to cover. I have a few questions, but if there are any questions here from you that are a lot more interesting, then we will ask you to, bring it up for discussion. So number one, Bhante, would you like to say a few things first?
I first have to angle my chair because it's in a chat.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Nalanda Buddhist Society, especially Brother Chye, the director of the institute here, and then sisters, especially Nandini and all the other sisters. I met Sister Paru a long time ago, 14 years ago, a different center, and all the others who have come here on this Uposatha day, New Moon Day. Uposatha means Upavasati. That means living near the God, living near the deities. That's the idea. Upavasa. Upa means a neighborhood. Vasati means live. And the Buddha reinterpreted this idea, saying that you better live in the neighborhood of your own discipline by practicing precepts, sila, rather than thinking that you are going to stay nearby the gods. The Hindu idea was, it was a lone idea, but it was then transformed into a Buddhist idea. So on this day, where we understand on every lunar day, full moon, new moon, we are influenced by the moon, high energy. High energy can end up us in becoming criminals and then maybe bad people, evil people. When you ask from the old version of law enforcement, they say they do more patrolling on full moon days or new moon days. People getting high energy, either to do good things or to do bad things. So it's that kind of a day. I hope that you've been practicing, doing your 8 precepts, as I heard. It's a wonderful time now to get into the discussion. Yes. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Bhante. Yes. So, this is a question that is, I'm sure, on quite a lot of Buddhists' mind. Does Buddhism view having any kind of desire as suffering? We have our desires, but sometimes we hear that any form of desire is suffering. So, is there a wholesome aspect to desire? and the wanting to achieve our aims in life.
Okay, so couple questions. First of all, I think it is better if we really want to understand the Buddhist view. It is better to go for the Pali context. Desire is a loaded term in English. In philosophy, they have a different meaning. In psychology, they have a different meaning. Religiously, it has a different meaning. So I think it's better to understand what is a good translation for desire, the so-called desire. Now you're asking, desire on one hand brings about some pain, some dukkha, or whether there is a wholesome dukkha, wholesome desire. So the best thing is to understand this from the Pali context. How did the Buddha teach us about this topic? As lay people, going back to what he pointed out, you are lay people. You can't be a monk by being a lay person. That is number one thing to understand. Especially when lay people study Dhamma, they have to first study the suttas which were given by the Buddha for the lay people. There are lots of suttas that talk about lay people's life, especially our today's topic, desire, sensual pleasure, and many other things, especially how to, how to plan your wealth, how to plan your sensual pleasures, how to enjoy, not even plan, how to enjoy. So there are a bunch of suttas that deal with the lay people's life. So through these teachings, we can find a very good answer to this. Number one, now you are a lay person. Now there is a certain idea that people are making. Can I love someone without attachment? That's a very interesting, I think it's a commonplace. A lot of people, they talk and they say, yes, love people without attachment. How to love someone without being attached? The sensual pleasure of loving someone is inherent with the attachment. Attachment is inherent. That is how the Buddha explained. So, as a lay person, to enjoy sensual pleasures is not a blameworthy act, because he or she is a lay person. But the problem Buddha is talking about is within the sensual pleasures, how to enjoy sensual pleasures without bringing greed, lobha, onto the sensual pleasure. One simple example is the Metta Sutta's last stanza. Dittincha anupagamma silava dassanena sangpannu kame suvinaya gedang. A lot of people mistranslate. They say, having abandoned all the karmas, you are not going to be reborn. What does the third line says? Kamesu vineya gedang, having abandoned the greed in regard to the kama. It's quite interesting. Having given up the greed in regard to the karma. Karma is okay, but the greed that someone brings onto the karma is the problem. So I think the first thing to distinguish here is, in answering this question about lay people's desires, that lay people have to find out the evil, the unethical version of the sensual pleasures. Say for instance, kamesu miccachara viramani sikkhapadang samadhiya, third precept. Buddha clearly says, kamesu miccachara. That means someone is misbehaving in the kamas, misbehaving. The proper way is kamesu sammachara. Right? That means you can behave in the kamas, although this is ideally for the sexual conduct, sexual misconduct, the pole opposite.
So, Bhante, karma, the actual meaning is sensuality. Yes,
Karma,
K-A-M-A.
sensual pleasure.
Sensual pleasure.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
So then what I say is that sensual pleasures are okay for a lay person as long as the lay person does not develop a greed towards that. The expanded version of the greed is the tanha. That's a very higher version of lobha. So what I can say is that, rest assured, you can enjoy kamas. So desire to enjoy kama has no problem, unless you are trying to bring greed onto that. On the other hand, you are asking wholesome desire. Now this one we have to understand from another perspective, higher perspective. So one perspective, one context of desire is that you are understanding that you are pursuing healthy karmas, wholesome karmas. That means as a layperson, you are enjoying your karma. Let me ask you, what are the karmas? Tell me. What are the karmas in your understanding?
Well, we like to eat. there is a pleasure in eating. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that is one thing.
Yes.
How did the Buddha explain the karmas? He said, people are creating 6 karmas. Chakku vinyeya kama. That means sensual desire in regard to the sights. Sights.
Yes.
And then sota vinyeya saddha. That means sensual desire in regard to the sounds. Agreeable, charming, whatever the sounds. And then the third one is Chakkusota Gana. Gana Vinyeya Gandha. That means any sensual desire with regard to the smell. And then the one you just now told us. Jivha Vinyeya Rasa. Taste, sensuality with regard to the taste. Then the fourth one is Kaya Vinyeyesu Pottabha. That means sensuality with regard to the contact, touch. Finally, Mano Vinyeyesu Dhamma, sensuality with regard to the thoughts. So these are the 6 karmas. Now if I make it a little bit simpler, we are getting victim to our own sights. We are getting victim to our own sounds. We are getting victim to smell, aroma and all that. We are getting victim to the taste. We are getting victim to the touch and then to the thoughts. But initially they are not something bad, because we need this sense media. Without this sense media we cannot live unless you are not bringing low bound to that. So I think as lay people, desire is okay to enjoy these 6 sensual pleasures as long as you are not bringing lobha onto that. And the second part of the question, is there a wholesome desire? There is another level of desire, we call it chanda. There are a couple words for that. One is kusala chanda, dhammachanda. Dhammachanda, kusala chanda. The Buddha uses this Pali word in many places, especially when he talks about right effort. He says, chandang janeti, viryang varabati, chittam pagganha. Chandang, not even Buddha talks about desire. He said, you have to create desire. Chandang janeti. For what? For 4 things. To create, to prevent inactive akusalas. To prevent inactive akusalas. You don't have certain akusalas, you are going to prevent them.
So that is the desire
for the wholesome
for
side.
the wholesome actions.
Yes. 3 more things.
Yes.
And then to remove the active akusalas. And then to create new kusalas. And then to maintain, sustain, deepen the active kusalas. So we have to use that Dhammachanda or Kusala Chanda. Pali word is Chanda. Maybe we can write later about this Pali word to do the good things. So desire, the English word desire in the Dhamma context is not a bad word. It is not an evil word. The Buddha talks about this chanda in 2 ways, in 2 contexts. One is to enjoy your sensual pleasures without bringing greed onto that. On the other hand, if you are maintaining your Dhamma practice, to become more motivated, encouraged to do more Dhamma, which is called chanda, kusala chanda. Yeah. So I think that is how we are going to look at. But I understand there are lots of misconceptions. If you ask from someone, if you read a book, they always outrightly reject any enjoying of sensual
Yes.
pleasures for their not being able to read the correct source materials.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, Bante, if I might go focus in, if we enjoy these things, yeah, such as eating food, smells and nice clothes, how do we know the level where it becomes over?
Very interesting question. There are many suttas where Buddha talks about how to self-identify the extreme levels of the karma. We call it agatito amuchito, never become obsessed. If you feel you are obsessed with any of these sensual pleasures, if you are infatuated, if you, let's say that you are not able to eat any food, that you really want to go to that restaurant only, and you are denying other people request to go to another restaurant. Let's say you can't, your life becomes very limited because of your sense media, then that is a good sign, indication that your karmas have gone to that extreme level. You can do that self-check-in, yeah. Yes.
So that means it's important that even when we are enjoying ourselves, yeah, we are open to other forms, yeah, of that food, that smell,
It's
so
okay.
we don't deny other people's
Don't
forms.
deny karmas, because karmas are what you call inherent states of things.
Yes.
We cannot deny them.
Yes.
Never deny the karma states. Now Buddha also talks about two types of main karmas. One is vattu karma, kilesa karma. Second being the vattu karma. Now I will explain to you how does it work. Now we talked about what are the karmas. Sight, sounds, smell, taste, what you call touch and thoughts. But the way how people are tapping into karmas time to time depends on two factors. First, karmas appear as a kilesa, defilement, because it is a latent tendency. It's not that I want to become polluted, corrupted. It's a latent tendency. Now, why I want to see a person I like to see, it's something that keeps me living in the samsara. Just because of that, I shouldn't be a sinner. it is inherent. So it's a karma at the sense, because sensual pleasure at the kilesa level. But there are other people who cannot manage this level of karma. So then they are going to possess the person which came up as a mind object. Let's say now you feel that you want to eat some food. But I don't think that you are going to execute that plan all the time, because you feel you want to eat, but then later on you decide, I don't want to go there. You are self-disciplining about that thought. Now just think about, if we did every karma thought that came to our mindset, I think we should have been in the prison.
Yes. We'll be in a lot of trouble.
So I think there is a natural discipline that we have depending on the practice.
Yes.
From whatever the practice. So there are people who cannot keep those karmas at the kilesa level, defilement levels. They even bring this to the vattu level, objects level. They want to possess by going there.
Right.
Then that is a higher level of karma.
So it is like a person is obsessed. Yeah, they really must possess.
No, it happens now. Let's say you want to go to a restaurant.
Yeah.
Now initially you like it, and it kilesa is being formed. Then you are calling the restaurant, if it is a big restaurant, and you are making a reservation. Now you are going. You are creating lots of karmas even before you are going there, right?
Yes.
But still you haven't seen the food, right? But now you are seeing food. So those are karmas. Those are at the kilesa level, not very bad kilesas like killing somebody, stealing somebody. But they are some kind of kilesas. But when you are really going to enjoy them physically, you are going to approach the Vattu level of the karma. So I think it is good in a way. On the other, on another layer, it might not be good. Let's say there is someone who is in a relationship, who is married, but then the mind is being tempted, being not able to, due to the fact that not being able to understand the temptations, right? And then those kind of temptations are going to take over his or her mind, and then going to possess the person, going to step over to other people's relationships, and go to a shopping place, don't want to buy certain things.
Right,
but few months ago, they were very pricey. Now they are in the clearance table. Now going to buy something else.
Yes.
But going to, entering into the shop can be a very daunting experience, because you
Yes.
can see the clearance. Can't take the mind off, eyes off from the clearance, and going to end up with buying those things.
Yes.
Right? So it works that way. Firstly, it is at the kilesa level, defilement levels, and then secondly, it is at the level of objects.
Yes.
For the most part, we are good. Lay people are good. But there are certain extreme levels where you need to dispel it at the kilesa level. If you continue, you might be in trouble in your practice.
So what Bhante says is, if we cannot manage it and we like it too much, then it becomes a problem to us. Yeah.
Let's say you have something that you have earned in good ways. You have to like it. Let's say you are in a marriage. So you have to like the person you are with. Right? When the love falls out, then I think everything is going to fall out. Right? I think we have to see it in two ways. One is that you have healthy karmas, you are liking them, you are enjoying them in a way, you are not bringing low born to that. On the other hand, there are things that you are not supposed to engage in.
Yes.
Those things you have to manage.
Yep.
Tell yourself, I am not going to proceed to that level.
Yes.
Two ways to look at it.
Thank you, Bhante, for that kind of illumination, brightness. But we see, that in the world, and I'm moving away from my prepared questions, due to Bhante's explanation. Even for married people, sometimes we know, when a person gets married, we get married, it is a commitment, and we try our best to keep our commitment to the husband or the wife. But there are times when people, I'm saying other people, I'm not saying me. And I have seen they meet someone, and that someone has a very strong effect on the person. So he or she starts thinking about that person when he knows or she knows she is not supposed to do that. So how do we control ourselves in that situation?
Okay. In that kind of a situation, it's better to look at the larger, broader picture of that thing. I understand there has something being wrong in that at that point of the relationship. That's why he or she is allowing someone to come into the life. So something has wrong. Better to fix that before just get taken away by somebody. Yes, better to fix that thing. I think relationships are things that you have to review time to time, an ongoing process, not that you're married and everything is okay. So better to have a good communication, fix the problems, not that thinking that I'm influenced by somebody and then I have to go to that person. It's like that you go on a road and you get attacked by a ghost, saying that now I am attacked by the ghost. I have to be in that position. No, it's not like this. So there are things to do. I think every time when there are things happening in a relationship, we have to mend. We have to, you have to repair it. People change over time, so we have to understand the conditions. Never ever let the love go away. That's number one. Things can change, conditions can come,
Right.
but you are not letting that happen.
Yes.
So people will understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much. Yeah, this is coming from a monk. He says, never let the love go down. Another question which I have is that in some cultures, especially in the West, and also here, we are taught that from very young, we have to work hard. Yeah? We have to study hard. And we must go out there and make a success of ourselves. And in that way, we can be happy. Yeah, because when you live in a big house, you know, you have all the things that you buy and then you enjoy it. Yeah, like a big screen TV instead of a small TV. Big screen TV, and then people will say, "We are successful." You know, he is doing well. So sometimes in a particular society, it is not us, you know, but it is our family, our parents, our community that pushes us to work towards having so many things. Now, how does a person develop that kind of neutral attitude? Yeah, when he, especially when the family is always wanting more and more and more, yeah, because of their, it's a cultural kind of preference.
Yeah. To start with the answer to that question, we understand that in our all the generations, even probably even in 90s, we understand that we are living up to our parents' expectations, not even for the money, but also for whatever the future people who they want us to be.
Yes.
But today's narrative has been a little bit different. Now we understand that things have been digitized and technology has been revolutionizing everything, almost everything. And we didn't wake up to an email before. We had to go to the post office to pay the bills. Now you people wake up to how much bills that they have, how many appointments they have. So things have been very different nowadays. New conditions have come in. At that point, I think this hard-working mentality, it's a kind of it's a Western mentality. In Buddhism, even never say, do hard work. Let's talk about that. Let me tell you that thing. Now, there's a misunderstanding that Buddha asks us to hard work in our practice, not even the wealth for the lay people. One very good example is Bhante Sona. There was a monk called Sona, Bhante Sona. He was a musician before he became a monk. So after he became, musicians, they are very sensitive to every sound. They can't even sleep. They are very sensitive, even for a small sound. And he thought just the way how he was very perfect in his, during his whatever veena, he thought I just follow the teachings of the Buddha and whatever meditations, I could attain a certain enlightenment. But he expired from all the attempts. Then he thought, why do I keep continuing as a monk? I better disrobe. I become a musician back again. So the Buddha saw this. And Buddha met him and talked to him. He said, Bhante, I'm going to disrobe. Then he asked, what is your problem? He said, I started very much, I practiced very much, but I can't even get to a certain jhanas. Then the Buddha knew what was going on. He asked a very interesting question, going back to his lay life. Before you became a monk, you were a very famous musician. You were a veena player. What do you think, Sona? When you play the veena, what if that you are going to make your, what you call, strings too tight and then try to create the desired sound? Will you be able to make that sound when your strings are too tight and you are making that happen? He said no. Because when I'm making my strings too tight, I'm not getting the desired sound. What if you do the opposite? What if you are going to slacken make your strings very loose and you are playing at a very loose level? He said, I am also not getting the good sound that I want. What if that you are neither making the strings too tight, loose? Would you get the desired sound? He said, yes. In the same way, never ever be too serious about your Dhamma practice. Don't too much effortful about your Dhamma practice. Dhamma practice is an effortless effort.
Effortless effort.
Now you get the answer about the hard working.
Yeah.
And never ever become too lazy and too effortful. And in another place we find out some information to back up this idea. Uddacha kukkucha. One of the 5 hindrances. Buddha says, if you are too much excited about the Dhamma practice, you might think, tomorrow by 5 a.m. I'm going to be a Sotapanna, You are not going to make that. You will never make it happen.
Yes.
Because you are too excited.
Yes.
This is a process. Dhamma practice is a process.
Yes.
It might take time. It might not take time. So, the way how the Buddha asks us to practice Dhamma even is a way that we are using the effortless effort. That means it's not that hard working process.
Yes.
So we have to become motivated with the appamada, diligence, and then do these small projects. Dana is a small project. Sila is a small project. Bhavana is a small project. Patti is a small project, giving good karma. Patti dana, sharing good karma, is a small project. All these tiny little 10 kusalas, 10 perfection, they are small projects. Don't hit one thing very seriously. Hit everything in tiny little small projects way, and you are making the progress. And you don't have to hard work for that. Nobody who hard work made any success in the Buddhist teachings unless you saw things from the third level of books, tertiary books, who exaggerated the Buddhist teachings. Like Prince Siddhartha left the house without telling his wife, which is an utter lie.
Yes,
An
I
utter
have
lie.
heard that.
Because in the Majjhima Nikaya's Arya Pariyesana Sutta, Buddha himself said, Mata pitusu rudantesu. I left the house while my mother, father, and my beloved ones were mourning over my upcoming departure. He had no reason to leave the house without telling them.
Yes.
But somebody wrote the Buddha life in the 18th century, 19th century. And then now people are thinking he left the house without telling anybody. For what? Right? Everybody was informed. The necessary people were well informed before his departure. So in the same way, we need to understand this idea, to dispel. In Buddhism, we have nothing called hard working in the practice. But when it comes to earning money for the lay people, Buddha used the word Uttana Viryādigata Bāha Bala Parichita. Uttan, energetic striving. That means never ever become lazy when you are earning money. He did not talk about how much money you have to make. That is out of the discussion because it depends on your ability. You can make millions of dollars. Or somebody can make to a barely living amount of money. But the most important thing is not about how much you make, whether you bring lobha back again to the money you are making. If you don't have any greed towards the money that you are making, you are good. In the same way, the idea that I can say to those people is that if you are too much pressurized by your family lineage, background about hard working, think about the true Dhamma. What the Buddha said was that never become too much effortful, too much lazy. Find the perfect balance between the energy levels, high and low energy levels. Never ever run out of your kusala energy. Keep the energy going, and then bring the right amount of energy to your studies, work, and the rest of the things. Hard working is a lone idea from the West into some of the Buddhist writers' books. That's not what the Buddha said.
Yes. Thank you, Bhante. Bhante mentioned this term, Udacca Kukucca. Have you heard of it? Yeah, it means restlessness. Yeah, the mind, although you want to calm the mind, you put in too much effort. Yeah, and then the mind starts to run away and will not cooperate with you. So this is something that I myself, I can tell you, when you first come into Buddhist practice, you want to do well. Yeah, you heard about enlightenment and people are getting enlightened. So I also want to be enlightened. So I put in maximum effort. After that, headache. Headache, you know. Yeah.
It's a process.
It's a process. Yeah. So I totally agree with what Bhante is saying. We must find that middle path, that middle ground, where the musical instrument, some of you might play guitar, you have to tune it, to not too tight and not too loose, so that the right tone, the music can come out of it. Yeah.
I want to add one more thing before we go to the next question.
Yes, yes.
This finding balance is very specific for all of us, because the way how everybody does this balance is very individualistic. So don't think that you have to do the same way like somebody else does, but you should bring that balance into your practice in whatever the way, because your energy levels might be different from one to others. So find your customized, custom-tailored balance between your energy fulfillments.
Yes. So which means to say we have to be very intelligent or very clever. Yeah. Not to say that we must be very,
and
very
at
clever.
that moment we become stupid, unwise. The moment that we think we have to be too much educated.
Yes, yes. That's
Unwise.
right.
Yes.
But and this is a question I think is very relevant. I think if we know the right way to, let's say, how do we control when we know that this is not healthy? Yeah, when we know that we can be too obsessive. It's like playing computer game. You get level 1, you want to go to level 2. Yeah, and I have had, because when I was teaching, I had students who never come to class. And why they didn't come to class? They were playing computer games. Yeah, the father is paying the fees. But they are so obsessed, so addicted, so attached. So I would like to ask Bhante, what are the ways to train our mind? We take the precepts, and we know the precepts are for our own good. But there are times when even when we know how good the precepts are, we also follow our unhealthy urges.
Interesting. Now, to many people, Dhamma practice is a practice by effort. It is not a practice by default. I normally ask a question in many of my retreats: how many people have you killed in your mind? And somebody said,
in your mind.
I killed 5 people. I said, who are they? She was quiet. Why we are having thoughts to kill other people? We are not trying, but still thoughts are coming up. Yes. That means an undeveloped mind, an undeveloped life in terms of the thoughts. So we have to understand that. Now your example, addiction to the games and all that. Now for this kind of a thing, we cannot stop in one day. So we have to take time. Even if there is a heavy smoker, those counselors never say that you have to quit smoking from tomorrow. They might say if you smoke probably 10 cigarettes a day, you're going to cut down to maybe 6, maybe 5. It happens slowly. So addiction therapies are very different. But if you are still a good person who has no addiction yet, you are very good. At that point, what you can do to protect yourself is a good reflection every day, at the end of the day. A reflection. How did the Buddha ask us to reflect us at the end? He said, Paccha vekkitva, kayena kamang katappang. Having reflected, I need to do acts through my body. Pacha vekkitva vachaya. Having reflected, I have to talk. I have to reflect and talk. Pacha vekkitva manasapi, so and so forth. Having reflected, I have to think. Now let me explain that. Let's take from the mind. Okay, that is the starting point. How to reflect and think. You might only do that when you are asked to brainstorm for an essay, for a talk. Then you are suddenly go and then do certain brainstorming exercises. I'm going to talk this and that. I'm going to write this and that. But other than that, are we reflecting what thoughts that I want to have in spending my day? Not many people are aware or maybe got used to that thing. This is why that natural default level comes back. Here, listen to a Dhamma talk, go back home, get back to the turbo mode again. Why is it? Because there is no reflection. The Buddha says, are my thoughts coming from covetousness, abhijja? Abhijja means covetousness. There are two things about abhijja and visamalobha. Abhijja means becoming greedy for what I possess in my life, my own possessions. Visamalobha means becoming greedy for what other people possess. There are people who are greedy for what other people possess. One indication is that you never hear anything wrong about other people, about you. But you get to hear from someone that XYZ person bad mouths about you. You say, I don't even know that person. Why she is bad mouthing about? She's very jealous about you. He's very jealous about you. No? Airing that thing through that connection. So now you are checking, is my thought that I am having naturally or I am trying to create is a part of covetousness, abhijja or visamalobha? Reflect and then think. And second, is my thought that I am having or creating is a part of ill will, vyapada? Is it connected to character assassination, destroying other people, killing other people, even in a thought? Going to cross-check with that reflection. Is my thought that I am having a part of michhaditthi, the 10 wrong michhaditthis? You do the reflection and then think or create a new thought. That is a wonderful way to stop the mess becoming a big issue. That is for the mindset. Then about the words, speech. Before you open your mouth, speak, there are 4 things. Whether the words that I'm going to use to somebody, there are 2 types of speeches we are making. One is our internal chatter, that is always working. The other one is our actual speech. So whether my internal chatter or my actual speech is having any lies. Do I lie to someone or lie to me? Do I badmouth about somebody? Do I use words to hurt someone? Do I gossip or idle chat? I reflect and then talk. I minimize the chance of making a mistake with my speech. Then go to the action side. Is my action that I'm going to make now or happening now out of my control leading to killing somebody, destroying someone in person, or stealing someone's stuff, or for a sexual misconduct? When you reflect and then do, you can really, really minimize your default nature of that thing. There's a very interesting thing to learn here. Why there are 3 bad things people do with the mind, 3 bad things they do with the akusalas they do with the speech, body. Why people do 4 bad speeches? That means we do more akusalas with our speech compared to the body and the mind. That means our place for most akusalas could be the speech, our mouth. That means you have to reflect a lot about what you talk. A lot of problems in the household, they are regarding the speech. Arguments and what they interpreted, what they said from the morning, and it can go for many, many years. You said that down that day.
Bad mouthing also. Bad mouth people.
Bad mouth.
Yes, spread the lies and
Lies, yeah. So, suggestion is that reflection, we call pacha-vekkana. Pacha-vekkana is the reflection. Pacha-vekkana. This means reflection. That means 10 things. Reflect before, before act. Reflect during act. Reflect after act. Reflect before speak.
speech.
Reflect during speak. Reflect after
Speech.
speak.
Speak.
Then reflect before think.
Oh,
Reflect before during
think.
think. Reflect after think. Now, interesting thing is that you are reflecting even while you are acting
Yes.
and after. Reflecting during you are talking. Now you are thinking whether are they out of those akusalas and after and even. Yeah. The other one we talk is chanda. Chanda means
Wholesome.
wholesome desire. Okay. I think there is a time issue, so we will summarize.
Thank you, Bhante. Yeah, I think the wisdom that Bhante has shared with us resonates because there is some, there is real truth which we have to reflect upon. Yeah, and I personally think that the more we take it back with us, and we reflect upon it, then we begin to see the benefits of these teachings. Yeah.
We can minimize dukkha, our topic today.
Right,
a lot of
right.
dukkha's can be minimized.
Yes, and it's so important, that we don't just come here and listen to the teacher. We have to take it home with us. And therefore making notes or putting things on the wall, putting some post-it reminders are very, very important.
One thing to add, it's not 10-9, huh?
It's 9.
Sorry,
Yeah. Right.
There's a Jataka story, I can't remember the name, where some animals wanted to practice Sila on a full moon day, like what you did today. There was a cobra who went into a village, and in that village there was a very big cow, white cow. People were respecting that cow. Somehow when the cobra was going here and there, he stepped on the cobra, he attacked the cow. He passed away. Now cobra went somewhere hiding and looking at what's happening. Many people came from the village. They are crying, they are mourning about the death of this big cow. This is one thing. One reason for the cobra to go to a monastery, at that time animals used to talk. Somehow they lost this speaking ability. Told the hermit, the tapasa, I want to take the precept because I attacked that cow. I feel really guilty about it. And then there was a pigeon couple who broke up. Out of the remorse, out of the unhappiness of the breakup, both went to take the precept. So what I understand is that gullible feeling, remorse or the regret, initially is a motivator in going back to the good things. Okay? But kukucha is bad, because kukucha means you are thinking and thinking about your what if, should haves, could haves. Always thinking, you don't know that where to stop and going back to the good stuff, good side of the thing. In Buddhism, when you've done a bad thing, Buddha says you have to feel guilty about it, not to dwell in that state of guilty feeling, but to create it as a a positive indication to go back to the opposite of the good side of that thing. So the gullible feelings can help us in a way, but never dwell in that state of mind. In our life, how many mistakes may have happened from us? But each mistake should have been a teaching moment to go back to the positive side. So that is how we are taking. Let's say now you are making the connection, said, let's say your desire has gone to the greed. And initially you understand, let's say if you want to understand, I think I have crossed the boundary. It's a no point return now. Sometimes when you do bad things, it's like a no point return. Like if you are on a, what do you call? What's the second light of the traffic light? Not amber. Yellow, now amber is going to come. You must, not stop. You have to go. Otherwise you will be in conflict with the oncoming traffic on the other side. So in the same way, when our desire became a greed, it will become a craving instantly. It will become upadana after that. What do you call? Grasping, a clinging. So if you think that you made a mistake in your desire, make it a teaching moment in the form of guilty feeling. And use it to go back to the opposite, the good side of your desire, healthy desire. But never dwell in that state of mind. That is the Buddha's advice. The example is Angulimala's story. The Buddha's, everybody was very shocked about Angulimala. And then the Buddha said, Yo imang lokang pabaseti abbha mutto Chandima. Someone who has done bad karmas before now understand that I did the bad karmas, but I want to get out of this thing. I want to find the way out. It is just as the full moon, which is coming out of the Abba clouds. The clouds cannot stop the full moon to come out. So then think about that positive aspect of thing, that you feel guilty, you understand there's something wrong in my practice. I make it as a motivation to get back to my practice. But don't dwell in the guilty feeling, which is not a good thing, because you are trying to hate yourself. Why did I do that? That is what happens when you don't do it. You are hating. Self-hatred can happen. All right.
Thank you so much, Bante.
Yes,
yeah.
timing. Yes.
Just to wrap it up, I think when we want to improve ourselves, the state, the mind state of positivity is very important. Yeah, don't always think that you are not good enough. Yeah, and it will not turn out well. So one of the important things to remain on the positive is have good friends.
Kalyana Mitta.
Yeah, to always remind you, to always bring you back. Yeah, to always balance you in that very, very positive states. Yeah. So if you have Kalyana Mitta in your life, you are very lucky. Good friends, positive friends. Yeah, with the right mindset. Yeah, to always keep you on the path. Yeah. So now, I would like to, on behalf of everyone here, thank Bante.
Thank you.
For your patience, and your compassion to share what you understand, your experiences, because Bante, works with many communities to improve their positions. So that also Bante has brought with him. On behalf of everyone, thank you so very much. And we hope that we will have more of these chats with Bante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.